It's a restaurant.
Is that a good one? Association. It's a really,
I'm drawing a blank.
it's some good restaurants on our side of town.
I was wanting to do an archery.
Doesn't have the parking available.
Everybody ready? All right. All right, we will call the October 7th, 2025 meeting of the City of Winter Haven Planning Commission to order. Jordan, if you would, please take roll.
Kevin Tyson,
Here.
Mario Manigo, Bob Lanford,
Here.
Lorena Cordero,
Here.
Wendy Venters, Colin Wells,
Here.
Ed Smith, Tina Summerlin,
Here.
and Craig Fuller.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, if you would, please stand for the invocation and pledge. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and this opportunity to come together and serve the City of Winter Haven. We ask that you be with us and guide us. We ask that you be with our nation, help bring us together. We ask these things in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes of the previous meeting? If so, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the
Second.
meeting.
All right, we have a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. All right, minutes are approved. I will move into a brief explanation of how the hearing will go. Cases will be read into the record and city staff will provide a presentation. At that time, commissioners will have an opportunity to ask questions of staff. Once commissioners have asked their questions, we will close the planning portion of the hearing and open the public portion of the hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against a case may do so. We ask that you limit your comments to 5 minutes. Once everyone from the public that wishes to speak has had an opportunity, we will close the public portion of the hearing and reopen the planning portion of the hearing, where we can ask additional questions or entertain a motion and a vote. If anybody from the public thinks that you may speak for or against a case, if you would please stand and Jordan will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case shall be the truth?
All right, thank you. Okay, new business, case number P-25-30 and P-25-31, request by Candace Ducking and Lisanne Etienne to assign neighborhood support future land use to an annex parcel and to assign commercial highway C3 zoning district to the same annex parcel. General location, a parcel generally located at the southwest corner of the intersection of 8th Street Northwest, US Highway 17, and Avenue X Northwest. The area covered by these requests is 0.34 plus or minus acres.
Heather Reuter, Senior Planner for the record. As you look before you on the screen, this is the future land use map. As you can see, within city designations to the south, it does in the core of the city with a primary mixed use hub. And then there's also a traditional neighborhood area. The city cemetery is to the east, which is the recreation. All of that in white is in unincorporated Polk County. As you look to the zoning, again, you see C3 designations to the south and southeast along the frontage there of Highway 17. This is an aerial, is that corner lot there at 8th Street Northwest, which is also Highway 17 or Lake Alfred Road. It has a couple names in that area, and Avenue X Northwest. This is a view of the subject property. As you look to the north, there is multifamily units across Avenue X Northwest. To the east across 17, there is again the Lakeside Memorial Cemetery. To the south, there's a vacant lot that's still in unincorporated Polk County and then a motel. And yep, okay. So Candace Ducking and Lisan Etienne are the petitioners, and they request the city assign neighborhood support future land use and commercial highway C3 zoning district to the annex parcel. Again, it is a vacant parcel that is generally located at the southwest corner of the intersection of 8th Street Northwest US Highway 17 and Avenue X Northwest. The parcel was annexed into the city July 28th, 2025. And the petitioner intends to develop the property with a 3,600 square foot adult daycare center. As these requests contain a small scale future land use amendment, review by Florida Commerce and other state and local agencies is not required. Within the agenda packet, you saw a breakdown of infrastructure, and based on that, as staff reviewed this request, we yield the following conclusions. The assignment of neighborhood support future land use in C3 zoning district is consistent with the property's location along an arterial highway corridor and with developed uses and city designations in the area, and there is sufficient public infrastructure capacity to accommodate the proposed development of the property at this time. However, if full concurrency will be given at the time of site plan and approval and the property is developed. Staff does recommend that the Planning Commission recommend approval of these requests and the forwarding to the City Commission for final action. I stand for any questions that you may have.
Heather, I've got a quick question. The parcel to the south, the small strip, what is its current use or zoning?
I do believe it has, what was this prior to? It has RL4 on it. That is what this property had on it in the county.
Okay. Any other questions? No? All right, we will close the planning portion of the hearing and open the public portion of the hearing. Anyone from the public wishing to speak for or against this case?
I just had a question.
If you can step up and just state your name and your address for the record.
David Beebe, 2409 East Lake Hartridge Drive. So at this point, there is no conceptual drawing of what they intend to put in. Is that correct?
That's correct. This point in the development phase, a site plan is not required. This is just the zoning stage, land use and zoning designation stage of the property. Straight zoning does not require a conceptual plan.
Okay. So in the event this is passed in their favor, the city would be issuing the permits. Is that correct?
It would have to go through site plan review, and in that process, we're reviewing that as a permitted use within the assigned zoning designation, as well as it meets all required development standards, setbacks, floor area ratio, parking, landscape buffers, access, and all of that. And then once that occurs, a building permit could be applied for.
Okay. Would they have to have access via 17, which would require an FDOT permit?
So because it fronts on a DOT roadway, DOT permit will be a part of that site plan review process, whether DOT allows them access from there or the county allows them access from Avenue X. That will be determined by those entities.
That's part of our concern. We live down at the end of that hill on the lake, and we are subject to a lot of water running down the road. I would assume that they would be required to retain any runoff on that property. Is that correct?
That's correct. As part of the development process, they will have to do stormwater retention and have permitting through SwiftMud.
So who has the final word on how they access that piece of property? FDOT or the city or the county?
It would be between DOT and the county. Neither of the right-of-ways that they front on are city right-of-ways.
All right, thank you.
Can I add to that? I would say FDOT would be the first entity, would take a pass at it, and then Polk County.
Okay,
So
thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? All right, seeing none, we will close the public portion of the hearing and reopen the planning portion of the hearing. Any additional questions, commissioners?
No.
All right, I will make a motion in favor of case number P-25-30 and P-25-31, request by Candace Ducking and Lasan Etienne to assign neighborhood support future land use to an annex parcel and to assign commercial highway C3 zoning district to the same annex parcel. General location, a parcel generally located at the southwest corner of the intersection of 8th Street Northwest, US Highway 17, and Avenue X Northwest. The area covered by these requests is 0.34 plus or minus acres as presented in the fact sheet.
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, case is approved. Moving on. Case number P-25-32 and P-25-33, request by the city of Winter Haven to assign institutional future land use to an annex parcel and to assign public institutional PI zoning district to the same annex parcel. General location, 500 4th Street East, Juanita. The area covered by these requests is 13.89 plus or minus acres.
Before you on the screen, you see the future land use map. There is city institutional is to the east because of our wastewater treatment plant. And then there is some neighborhood suburban and industrial as you go to the south, as that's part of the ILC. As you look at the zoning, again, PI is adjacent to it. There is some R3 zoning for that's currently vacant and undeveloped. And then there's the PUD for the ILC in the area. All of that in white is in unincorporated Polk County. As you look at the aerial, this is the subject property. There is a home on the property and a couple other accessory structures, and then it is open pasture land. This is a view looking at the property, a little bit more view looking that way. This was at the end of the road. I couldn't access any further. This is looking back to the west down 4th Street, East Juanita, and then to the north. The city of Winter Haven is the petitioner on this and requests the city commission assign institutional future land use and PI zoning district to an annex parcel. The parcel is located at 500 4th Street East Juanita and is adjacent to the city's wastewater treatment plant 3. The parcel was annexed into the city July 28, 2025. The parcel was purchased by City of Winter Haven in January of 2025 for future use by the city's water department. Again, this is a small-scale future land use amendment, so review by Florida Commerce and other state and local agencies is not required at this time. There is no current future plans for development. At time of development, it will have to meet all requirements of concurrency. Staff does recommend that the Planning Commission recommend approval of these requests, and they're forwarding to the City Commission for action. I stand for any questions you may have.
Any questions? All right, we will close the planning portion of the hearing and open the public portion of the hearing. Anyone from the public wishing to speak for or against this case? All right, seeing none, we will close the public portion of the hearing and reopen the planning portion of the hearing. Any additional questions? We will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion in favor of cases P-25-32 and P-25-33, a request by the city of Winter Haven to assign institutional future land use to an annex parcel, and a request to assign public institutional zoning district to an annex parcel, the general location being the same parcel, 500 4th Street East, Juanita. The area covered by the request is 13.89 more or less acres, as covered in the fact sheet and presented by staff.
Second.
All right, we have a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, case is approved. Moving on, case numbers P-25-34 and P-25-35. Request by the city of Winter Haven to amend the 2035 future land use on a portion of a city-owned parcel from neighborhood suburban and neighborhood support future land uses to institutional future land use, and to rezone the same portion of a city-owned parcel from single-family residential small lot R2 and conservation CN zoning district to public institutional PI zoning district. General location, the subject area is located on the east side of Buckeye Loop Road, approximately 1,100 feet south of Oakhurst Drive. The area covered by these requests is 10.25 plus or minus acres.
Okay, I will be presenting this one, Sean Byers. As you can see on your screens, the area subject to this request is depicted. This is the future land use It is predominantly neighborhood support with this small area as neighborhood suburban. Looking at the future land use or the zoning map, excuse me, we have the same property. It's a mixture of conservation CN and residential single family small lot R2. And then here's an aerial of the properties. You can see it is vacant with some light agricultural use. It's a small grove on the very northern edge of it. And then there is a drainage, I'm going to call it a ditch that runs along the eastern edge of the area subject to this request. Looking at the property from Buckeye Loop Road, as you can see, it is there's the citrus grove to the left side of the screen. And the bulk of the property to be developed is the utilities offices is this area you see in the foreground in front of the row of trees, which generally follows that ditch. This is a view to the north. As you can see, it is woodlands, and the Country Club Trail subdivision is beyond those trees. To the south, again, is more woodlands to south. And then across the street, we have some single-family residential on large lots. A little bit of background, the area subject to request contains approximately 10.25 acres, and it consists of a citrus grove and some pasture lands. In December 2023, the city purchased approximately 370 acres along the east side of Buckeye Loop Road, south of the Country Club Trail subdivision. The property was purchased with the intent of creating surface water storage and recharge areas identified in the One Water Master Plan as a new location for the city's water department, administrative offices, and work area. The water department proposed to develop the site with a 36,750 square foot administrative office building and a 24,699 square foot warehouse and associated parking. In order to develop these uses does require the future land use and zoning to move to an institutional category and the PI zoning district. For the record, this is a small-scale future land use amendment, and it will not require review by Florida Commerce or other state and local agencies. Given the type and scale of the use, minimal impact on supporting infrastructure is expected with the result of the proposed office and storage facility. And for the record, all public notification requirements for these requests were met. And staff's conclusion is follows. The amendment to institutional future land use is consistent with the proposed use of the property as an administrative office and operations area for the city's water department. Additionally, there are additional institutional properties located along Buckeye Loop Road with 1/2 mile of the subject property, which are also designated as institutional. The assignment of the PI zoning district is consistent with the requested institutional future land use and the proposed use of property as administrative office and operations area for the city's water department. And at this time, there is sufficient water, wastewater, and roadway capacity to support development of the proposed water department office and warehouse facility. Based on these conclusions, staff does recommend the Planning Commission recommend approval of these requests, and they're forwarding the City Commission for final action. And that concludes my presentation.
Any questions? Oh, there's a good look at it right there.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
And,
seeing
and
none-
I'll add, this is a very conceptual
Yeah.
layout. They've not gone into any firm engineering design on it.
Okay. And just to ask the question ahead of time, what sort of landscape buffers, like along Buckeye Loop Road, with those single family homes across the street, is there anything planned just
Well,
to help shield the view?
the buffer by code would be a 10-foot type C,
Okay.
only because those are based on the type of roadway it's fronting. If it was directly adjacent to those single family, it would probably jump up to a G or an H.
Okay.
According to our landscape code. Likewise, if this were to actually touch the Country Club Trail subdivision, which it does not, there's property in between that we do not own. It would require a much more intense buffer. But a lot of the buffering to the north and south is going to be by a lot of the dense natural vegetation. So.
Understood. Any questions?
I have one more question on the ingress and egress. Will it be away from the homes to shield from heavy equipment coming in and coming out in early parts,
Yep.
et cetera?
As designed right now, the main entrance generally comes out across the street from a wooded area. I do notice at the very northern edge of the site is the proposed truck entrance. It does come out across from a single-family residence. As I mentioned, this is a very early conceptual drawing, and that's perhaps something we can work with utility staff on, maybe reconfiguring their access points a little bit when they get into their actual design.
Any other questions? No? All right, we will close the planning portion of the hearing and open the public portion of the hearing. Anyone from the public wishing to speak for or against this case? All right, seeing none, we will close the public portion of the hearing and reopen the planning portion of the hearing. Any additional, what? Oh, I'm sorry. Was there a question? No? Nope. All right. Any additional questions?
No.
No?
All right, I'll make a motion. I see you looking at me like that. So I'm not working on this. I should fully disclose, we're working on property adjacent and maybe the recharge well. So I don't know if I'm good.
It's a
Yeah, because
separate-
I had zero to do with it. I just
separate
saw it was
area, separate-
adjacent, so
Yep.
I wanted to disclose this before I said anything. That's the only reason I didn't initially make it. But I'll make a motion in favor of cases P-25-34 and P-25-35, request by the city of Winter Haven to amend the 2035 future land use as on a portion of a parcel from neighborhood suburban and neighborhood support future land uses to institutional future land use to a city-owned parcel, and a request by the city of Winter Haven to rezone a portion of a city-owned parcel from single-family residential small lot R2 and conservation zoning district to PI public institutional zoning district. Location of the property is on the east side of Buckeye Loop, approximately 1,100 feet south of Oakhurst Drive. Area covered by the request is 10.25 more or less acres, as covered in the fact sheet and presented by staff.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. All right, case is approved. Moving on to other business. Comments from staff.
Okay, I've got a few items here. First one, I want to update the Planning Commission that last week we submitted the city's evaluation and appraisal report letter to Florida Commerce for review. They did accept our letter and acknowledged the items that we need to correct in the comprehensive plan. Namely, it's extending out the horizon year and adopting new professionally prepared population projections. So we have 1 year to complete that task, and staff will likely look at starting that process sometime after the first of the year, and probably also wait until after the legislative session is over to see if any new legislation comes out that we may need to deal with as part of this. Second, I want to remind you that the next meeting is Monday, November 3rd, and I want to emphasize it's a Monday due to the city election. So just note that on your calendar.
Say that again?
It's going to be a Monday night meeting, Monday, November 3rd. And then the last thing is I would like to invite you, if you're free. October is National Community Planning Month, and the City Commission is going to be issuing a proclamation to that effect. And if you wish to be in attendance at the meeting on Monday night, please feel free to be in attendance.
This Monday?
Yeah, the 13th, 6 o'clock. And that's it.
Quick question.
Yes.
So when you're updating the population, are you doing the city and then both the city and the service area or the municipal service boundary, or?
By statute, we only have to do what's inside the city limits.
Right.
We do have the capacity to look at the service area, and we'll probably do some analysis of that area as part of this. Only because it also beyond the comp plan, it serves other practical purposes for us as well.
Right. And my thoughts there were most of that stuff you guys are going to annex in anyway as it grows, right?
At
As
some
as
point-
it develops.
Some point in the future, yeah.
Not, I didn't mean the existing stuff.
Yeah. So,
I meant the future as it develops.
so yeah, we'll likely look at the entire service area to some degree. As I said, there's valuable information to gain from that as well.
Right.
So,
Comments from planning commissioners? Officers, thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for your service. Comments from the public? We don't have any more public. All right, we are adjourned.